I spent a fair bit of time in LA before the spicy cough arrived. 9 trips over 10 years, to be exact. Anywhere from 3 months to, I don't know, 10 days at a time. For some reason, they kept getting shorter and shorter. There's something interesting in that. But anyway, when I think about all of the time I spent in California, there is one night which stands out in particular. Okay, it involves the most famous actress in the Western world, so I will need to be careful with this. Once upon a time, it was 2013, and I had recently been selected as runner-up for the Heath Ledger Scholarship. So I think it was my second trip there. I was kind of really getting things started over there with representation. My manager had two clients, John Travolta and myself. um, you know, canyon running in the morning, just many hours every day sitting in traffic bumper to bumper, constantly prepping for auditions and meetings, yoga and green smoothies in Los Feliz, horse riding, uh, or surfing in Malibu or San Diego on the weekends, and yeah, of course, partying long into the night. I think I was 23 at this point. Um, but yeah, rinse and repeat. That was my week. I was living the sweet California dreams. And something that was just part of the routine at that time was the Australian actor Saturday night parties. Same people, same places, same naughtiness, just every single week. Bless you. This one Saturday night, it was theme night. Everyone was to wear white. Probably something about us being pure in the city of sin. I remember standing in a white jacket on the rooftop of a very old, beautiful, famous hotel, looking up at the big Hollywood sign, everyone arm in arm, everyone clinking glasses of champagne, and the usual shouting of, you know, yeah, we made it, we're in LA. Um, Pretty standard Saturday night for this group of Aussies in LA. And I just remember something being off um, about that night. I had been there for about 2 months at this point, and it felt strange to once again be making the same celebratory noises at a glowing sign. Um, Maybe I was tired. Maybe I was having an off day, but just something interrupted the pattern that night. And I remember thinking, what are we actually celebrating? I remember being distracted by my friend who shouted across the rooftop. He's like, Sheasby, come over here, come meet my friend. And an actress had just walked in. I had heard rumors of this actress. She had just finished filming with, um, you know, one of the top directors in the world, and DiCaprio, and was well on her way to becoming the next big thing. For privacy's sake, let's just call her Margaret Bobby. Margaret walked in and was courteous and kind and left after about 5 minutes. She walked in, she said hello, she looked around and then left. Now, there's absolutely the probability I'm simply projecting here, but for me, that was just a little yellow light. And there was just the dissonance in my body. There was just something off about that. I remember slowing down and kind of just zooming out and just detaching myself from the scenario and thinking, why is someone who's doing great work with great people and getting weekly coaching on her craft not interested in hanging with a bunch of actors who spend more time doing substances on the weekend than working on their script for their next audition? And I remember walking to a quiet corner and looking at that freaking LA night sky, which hardly ever has any stars due to light pollution. And I remember turning around and I remember seeing everyone smiling and holding their glasses up, hollering into the air. And it was the first time on that trip where I just saw the room differently. Yeah, saw a bunch of actors, but not a single actor was working in that room. Not a single actor was going to class. They enjoyed the lifestyle of being an actor, yeah, but I didn't see any joy in the actual work itself. And that made me feel real strange. And I think deep down I knew that there was some uh, teeny tiny part of me that was quite possibly being reflected in who I was surrounding myself with. Um, Kind of like a strange real life mirror. And of course, sometimes I don't always like what I see in the mirror. I remember playing back my time spent in the city up to that point. Okay, yeah, maybe there's a reason that I hadn't actually landed a single role yet. Um, and I sat down in a beach chair, which was conveniently next to me. It had taken me 2 months, but I was finally reflecting on just what the hell was I doing in LA? Why was I there? What was I wanting out of the experience? What did I want to do with my time left? Um, and I remember my thoughts were interrupted by a different actor this time, Alicia. She came and sat down next to me and she asked me how I was going, and I explained I was feeling pretty strange about what I had just seen, and she responded, Mike, what the hell? I just saw the same thing. And I remember a huge sense of relief just washed over me because I was like, oh, you saw that too. And I explained, yeah, I feel really weird about that. Anyway, Alicia and I sat on those beach chairs on that rooftop in LA, and we started talking about what we wanted. Um, we wanted to go to work. We wanted to work with great people on great material and just contribute the best work we could. To be clear, we're very happy to have a celebration, but there were things that were higher on the values ladder that we realized were not being taken care of. And that conversation ended with Alicia saying, I think I'm going to go home. And I remember smiling and saying, yeah, me too. And with that, Alicia stood up. She went home. She went to work on an audition she was preparing for that week, which catapulted her into the lead role of a hugely successful AMC show, which lasted many years. I don't even know if that show has stopped running. I don't know. What's so cool is that I saw her yesterday plastered on the side of a bus in Sydney for a new show coming out, which is just go leash. That's freaking awesome. As for me, that night in LA, I was all dressed up in white, and I remember putting down the cheap champagne and I walked up to my friend who was in the bathroom. He said, "You're up." And I remember placing my hands on his shoulders and I told him that I was like, I love you. And I told him that it was time for me to go home. And I will never forget the look in his eyes, because it was like he knew exactly what I meant. And I remember him just saying, I get it. And he even kind of looked around and he was like, I get it. We didn't say anything else. We hugged. I walked home and we never spoke again. We spoke again like 4 years later. We just had like a random phone call just to check in. But that was that separation. And I had a long walk home that night in the streets of LA, listening to the eerie calls of coyotes hunting down their next vulnerable meal. I went back to my couch. I pulled out a Shakespeare audition I had for an upcoming show at the Sydney Opera House, uh, Henry V, and I went back to work. What's my point? Sometimes I think all I need to do to understand what I'm valuing most is to look at my actions. What am I spending my time and energy actually doing? Drinking champagne in Sin City, or finding joy in the slow process of contributing meaningful work. No good, bad, right or wrong, but there is a choice. I do have a choice. Hope this helps.